Okay, my phone's starting to die, but the garden's getting crazy. It's super overgrown, so I'm gonna do a quick shot of before, and then I'll show you the after. Okay, the garden's in really rough shape. It needs to be weeded. It's getting overgrown. I've got to come in here and mow. Almost all of the tomatoes have fallen over. I did start cleaning out this bed. This was cucumbers. I got all those cleaned out. I'm going to clean out these squash. I'm going to clean out the other side of the cucumbers. I got to clean up these tomatoes. There's just a bunch of stuff that needs to be done, and I don't really have a plan. So I think it's just going to be a couple time-lapse videos. The only thing that's doing really well right now are our loofahs. So I made a pile of tomatoes that had like holes in them and ones that weren't good. And I'm gonna give these to the chickens. Snippies! And then this is the pile of our tomatoes. And mind you, this was just half of that bed. I still have to do the back side. But if I let these green tomatoes sit out on the counter inside the house for about 2 weeks, they'll turn red, and then we'll freeze them until we're ready to do a big batch of preserving. Okay, so one of the smallest tomatoes I have is this yellow Patio Choice tomato, and it's little yellow cherry tomatoes, and it's tiny, but I'm gonna try and save it. I'm gonna take the rest of these tomatoes out and try and stake this one up, but this is by far the best tasting tomato that we grew this year. Okay, this is what I got done yesterday. These 3 beds are all cleaned out. I'm hoping to mow and clean out some more. These tomatoes are all gonna stay. I think I'm gonna pull some more flowers. Those tomatoes are gonna go, and then the tomatoes over there in the U-shaped bed under the sunflowers are gonna go. I wanted to show you guys the loofahs real quick. We have a bunch of male flowers, but we've also got our first little loofah. Over here by the trellises, all I saved was that one flower at the end of this bed on the right side, and then on this side I saved this one summer squash plant because it has a squash growing. I'll probably pick it tonight and pull these at some point. And then I saved the flowers over here. These are black-eyed Susan vines and morning glories, and these are doing really good. And I saved the last pumpkin, so when that's ready, I'll pull that one. And the pumpkins planted here, and you can see that vine borers and squash bugs have all gotten to it. So I just weeded the end of this bed and mowed around the sides. But if you see this right here, this is thyme. And I totally forgot I planted this here. There's actually 2 of them. This one's a little bit smaller, I'm guessing because it's getting covered by the tomatoes. But it looks really good. Took a little break from the garden and came and cleaned and refilled some waters. This is the tree that fell on our coop the other day. I just pulled it off the coop and the little ones love to sit in it. This is our cooler full of tomatoes that we've been pulling. I've replanted the little fig tree in a bigger pot. We're gonna plant this fig tree that's getting pretty big in this tomato thing. I moved it to be up against the trellis because I thought it would help support it, but it's dying back, and I'm just gonna pull the tomatoes off of it and plant the fig tree inside. Okay, so in this mesh bag, we have 3 Sweet Million tomato plants, and I picked all the cherry tomatoes that I think were left on them. We got quite a few. I even picked some of the orange ones, and these ones will turn red once left on the counter for 3 or 4 days. These are the tomatoes that we pulled out of the second tomato bed. Next, we're gonna move over to the flower bed. We're gonna take everything out except for the marigolds at each end. So in this flower bed, we planted a mix that we got from the dollar store, and it was just a wild cut flower mix. And one of the flowers that I just pulled out, I noticed had these seed pods that were drying. And inside it looks like there's seeds in there. So I saved a couple. I'm gonna try and save some of the seeds, and hopefully we can grow some more next year. The actual flower is really pretty. So I did end up keeping the zinnia just because it's really pretty. There's still so much to do, so what we're planting will be in the next video, but I have to weed this. I have to get rid of these tomatoes that are falling over, and then I have to get rid of those tomatoes over there by the sunflowers because those are dying. While I'm over here in this bed, I also pulled the dill, but I harvested a bunch of seeds. I'm gonna show you guys that in a minute. So dill is super easy. First you'll get flowers like this, and you let them dry, you keep them on there, and they turn into little seeds like that. And I'll show you guys the ones I harvested. Okay, these are all the seeds that I harvested from those 4 dill plants, and I already have enough seeds for next year, so I think I'm gonna do a seed giveaway. Okay, you can see on the table where I had the flowers that all the dill seeds had started falling off. They're very delicate, so when you pick them, I recommend putting them right into a paper bag like I did. I'll leave them in the paper bag for about a week just to make sure they're dry and good, and then I'll put them in little baggies for the giveaway. I didn't get done as much as I hoped I would. I still have to weed a few of the beds and pull out some things that are dying back to make room for our fall garden. Next video, we'll be showing you what we're going to direct sow in some of the beds that we cleaned out, as well as what we're starting in pots for our fall garden. The next video will have all the instructions for the free seed giveaway for the dill seeds that I showed you guys how to harvest today.